Hello everyone and welcome to the video, and today we're going to be talking about the best build in Elden Ring. This is probably the tankiest you can ever get, and it is literally hard to die while using this build. I'm going to show you a clip of Melania using her waterfall dance on me. This is New Game Plus, and it does literally nothing, as you can see. The damage resistance on this build is absolutely incredible. Doesn't even stagger me, and I'm able to heal. So this build is probably going to get stolen by other people once I post it. So if you guys could please drop a sub to the channel, I make tons of builds like this, all unique and amazing builds. So make sure to drop a like on the video as well if you enjoyed the builds. But this is literally the unkillable builds in Elden Ring. So now we're going to take a look at the gear of the builds. So for the gear of this build, we are running 2 blasphemous blades. The reason we are running these is because they give you quite the amount of lifesteal. They give you a lot of health back when you use the L2, and it does a lot of damage. We then have a sacred dagger with the golden vow on it just for a little bit more protection. We have the Erdtree seal. For the fashion, we have the bull goat helm, bull goat armor, bull goat gauntlets, and the bull goat greaves. For the talismans of the build, we have the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, Shard of Alexander. We then have the Pearl Drake Talisman +2. The Great Jars Arsenal. For the Flask of Wondrous Physic, we have the Opaline Heart tier and the Faith Knot Crystal tier. We then have the most important part of the build, which is the Iron Jar Aromatic. This is definitely what makes the build so good. For the stats of the build, we are level 150. We have 65 Vigor, 25 Mind, 35 Endurance, 27 Strength, 20 Dexterity, 19 Intelligence, and 64 Faith. One thing to note as well is this is actually boosted by the Godric's Great Rune. It gives a +5 to all my stats, which is definitely recommended for this build because you need a lot of points in a lot of different places. But with the gear out of the way, now we're going to talk about how this build works. So obviously, right off the bat, you're going to drink your Flask of Wondrous Physic, and then you pop your Iron Jar Aromatic. As you can see, my physical defense went up to 70. This is literally insane. We popped the Golden Vow afterwards, and it goes up to 72. This build is very weak to lightning, obviously, so if you run into a lightning person, they are literally your kryptonite. But essentially, that is the buff process. So right now, I'm going to show you in action against Radagon. This is New Game +2 as well, like I said before. The damage is incredible. Obviously, she's literally hitting me, or he. I'm not entirely sure if Radagon's a girl at this point. Whatever. They're hitting me. It does literally nothing. You could still dodge roll as well. It's a fat roll, but regardless, it's still pretty useful. I mean, if you guys just look at the health you get back, it's absolutely incredible. While being able to do 1800 damage as well per skill attack, like, it is literally just not fair. This is, without a doubt, the best PvE build in the entire game. I literally destroyed Radagon so easily. So now we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, how you should be using this build and why it works, as well as the downsides of the builds. So obviously the Iron Jar Aromatic is going to be the main point of the builds. It is what gives you a ton of poise. You literally, like small attacks, any basic attacks with like one-handed swords or anything, they will literally bounce off of you. It's pretty insane. So like anyone using a katana or anything, it literally bounces off of you. So you're going to use that against most of the bosses. However, in this Elden Beast one, we actually avoided using it just because this boss moves around a ton, and when you're using the Iron Jar Aromatic, you actually cannot run. It's kind of annoying, but regardless, that's why we have the Black Flames protection. If you pair that with the Golden Vow, you actually get around 68 damage reduction, which is a little bit less than the 72, almost 73 that you get with the Iron Jar Aromatic. However, you don't get the insane poise and the auto attacks bouncing off of you. You don't get that, which is a little bit unfortunate, but when there's bosses with tons of movement and you have to be able to track them down and follow them and stuff, like the Elden Beast, it's definitely much more beneficial to just run the Black Flames protection so you can continue to run. But as you can see here, this is me, you know, without that on, and I'm still, you know, for as much as he's hitting me, if I just hit him with one L2, every single attack that he hits me with, I get that same amount of health back. And the Elden Beast hits very hard, and obviously, like I said, this is New Game Plus, so, you know, he does a lot of damage. Overall, I really had so much fun using this build. And at this point in the video, I'm halfway through the Elden Beast health bar, and I actually haven't used a single red flask yet. Not even one. So it's definitely important to have a nice split between the blue flasks and the red flasks, just because you're going to be using a lot of FP. And honestly, you might even argue that having more blue flasks, just because, you know, whenever you hit people with your skill, you get health back, so you almost don't even need the red flasks. So you can probably exclusively just run the blue ones and just constantly get your health back from the L2 attack from the Blasphemous Blade. It's also important to have 2 of the Blasphemous Blades, because you get double the health back. So this is very important. You want to have them both out at the same time and be dual wielding them. Overall, this build is absolutely incredible. I'd probably double down and say that this is the best build in PvE of Elden Ring. It is literally hard to die using this build. The only time that you kind of get messed up on this build is in fights where they have like lightning or different status effects. Like in this fight with the Elden Beast, he had a lot of holy damage, and my holy damage negation isn't great, but the physical damage is absolutely incredible. And you could obviously boost your holy damage throughout other ways, like if you know you're fighting a boss. You can take off your one talisman, the Dragon Crest Great Shield talisman. You can take it off completely and just run the Holy Drake talisman, I forget what it's called, but you can just run that one +2 and you'll get tons of resistances as well. And since you won't be using Black Flame's protection, if you are facing a boss that has a certain status effect, you can use one of the dried livers to get even more damage resistance. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Like I said, someone's probably going to steal it. It's unfortunate, but there's bigger YouTubers out there, and they're vultures. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and a sub to the channel. I am the original maker of this build, and I make tons of original builds, so please help me out and support me. But that's pretty much it for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.